You know that feeling, right? You send a text, and then you wait. Are you going to get a reply in seconds, or are you going to be left hanging? It seems like such a small everyday thing. But what if I told you that the secret to uncovering what people really think is hidden right there, in the timing of that reply?
I mean, think about your friends. You've definitely got the one who replies instantly, like before you've even put your phone down. And then you've got the other friend, the one who you know saw your message, but you get nothing, just radio silence for hours. They're totally different kinds of people, right? Different habits, different personalities.
Okay, so we all know these two people. But here's where this gets really interesting. What if that simple difference, the quick reply versus the late one, wasn't just a personality quirk? What if it's actually the key to solving one of the biggest headaches in the world of statistics?
All right, so let's dive into that problem. It's all about something pollsters call non-responders. See, when you're running a poll, you're not just interested in the people who pick up the phone. The real puzzle, the thing that keeps statisticians up at night, is the people who don't answer. That silent group, well, they can create a massive blind spot in the results.
And it makes total sense when you think about it, right? The kind of person who is super eager to share their opinion is probably pretty different from the person who just lets the phone ring. So if you only talk to that enthusiastic group, you're not getting the full picture. You're just getting one slice of it, and your final results could be, well, completely wrong.
So the big question is, how do you figure out what the silent people think? Well, this is where a really clever idea comes in. Analysts started looking for a clue, and they found it in a very specific group, the late responders. These are the people who do eventually answer the poll, but it takes, 2, 3, maybe 4 calls to finally get them on the line. And here is the big aha moment. The core idea is this. The person who takes forever to respond is probably more similar to the person who never responds at all. They're definitely not like the person who answered on the very first ring. So these late responders, they become a kind of stand-in or a proxy for that totally silent group.
So let's bring it all together. Think back to our texting friends. The late replier is our best window into understanding the friend who just ghosts you completely. It's the exact same logic for opinion polls. That late responder becomes the critical clue for understanding the non-responder, the person who never picks up the phone at all.
Now, this whole technique actually has a formal name. It's called the late respondent comparison method. Sounds kind of technical, but it's really just what it sounds like. Analysts zoom in on the answers from those people who were really hard to reach, the ones who made them work for it.
Okay, so what's the payoff? Why go to all this trouble? Because this is where the method becomes incredibly powerful. You're not just getting a little more data, you're basically gaining the ability to see something that was totally invisible before. You can start to read the hidden sentiment of the public.
So how does it work in practice? Well, analysts take the answers from these late responders and, statistically speaking, they give them more weight. It's like turning up the volume on their opinions to balance out all the eager people who answered right away. This adjustment corrects the bias and gets the poll much, much closer to what the entire population actually thinks.
In Korean polling, they have this amazing term for what they're looking for. It's 숨겨진 민심. 숨겨진 민심, it literally means the hidden public sentiment, or even better, the hidden heart of the people. And that's the real goal here, right? To find those opinions that aren't being shouted from the rooftops, but are quietly held by a huge part of the population.
And just so we're clear, this isn't some obscure academic trick. This is a core tool in modern polling. One expert put it perfectly. This is the analysis method of the pros. It's basically what separates a simple, run-of-the-mill poll from a really sophisticated and insightful one.
So at the end of the day, why does this matter so much? Well, for one, it corrects for a huge bias in polling, just making the data better. It also gives us this rare glimpse into the minds of people who are maybe less engaged or more skeptical. And what that all leads to is way more accurate predictions and a much better understanding of what people are really thinking.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big question to think about. If a simple late reply can hold such a massive clue in polling, what other hidden voices are we missing? In this age of big data where we track everything, how many other silent groups are out there with opinions we're totally failing to hear just because we're only paying attention to the ones who respond right away?